I want to start with the men's 100. That's the big one at the Olympics. And we're in an interesting spot. America hasn't won this gold medal for 20 years, Justin Gatlin. We thought for a while Noah Lyles is looking like the favorite the whole year. And then out comes Kishane Thompson at the Jamaican Trials, his first meet of the year. And he runs 9.77 and he looks incredible. Like, who's the favorite right now in this event in your mind?
The favorite's Thompson, and I know Noah's the world champion. I think Noah made it a little bit more interesting by running that 981 into a headwind, which kind of almost converts to 977. But there's no way you can look at the way in which Thompson ran that 977 and just go, "Oh no, Noah will beat him." Is going to have his hands full with that guy. And I think the most interesting thing about it is I think that he and Noah have very similar race patterns, right? They're not gonna kill you. I look at this guy Thompson, and I go, "This is Asafa Powell," and Asafa Powell is would have been a problem for anyone. Now, having said that, there are things which I see people completely ignoring. Because Shane Thompson has not been under the microscope of Olympic favorite. That's the first thing. Two, we all know rounds are a great equalizer. Noah has the medals that he does because of how well he runs rounds. So, um, is Noah suddenly a lock for the silver? No, but he does have his hands full with Thompson. And I feel like if I had to bet now, it would be a toss up because those two are pretty evenly matched.
Do you think it's clearly one of those two guys, or could we see someone like a Kerley or a Seville or even maybe a Jacobs come in and win this thing?
I think you'd be a little crazy to think, oh yeah, I know exactly what's going to happen. Look, there's a reason why we take all those cameras there. You do not know what's going to happen. Think of all the things that happened at the trials that all of us, including the so-called experts, thought, oh yeah, Christian Coleman makes the team, and I think Mo makes the team, and whoever you had that was like, huh? It's the Olympics for a reason. They write books on what happens to people that everything doesn't go perfectly for.
Yeah. The thing that's crazy to me about Thompson is I've seen these interviews after his races, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, my coach Stephen Francis, he told me to only run the first 60 meters hard and to ease up, or he told me to let back." Like this doesn't sound normal for a guy who's like going into the Olympics as the fastest guy in the world. Like, have we seen him go all out? And is there a reason why he's telling him to hold back? Is it because of his injury past? Like, what do you make of all that?
I would guess, this is only a guess, but I would guess that it's because of his prior injury past. But I know Frano enough to know that he always has a project coming. Like this year, it was the twins, the Clayton twins, and one of them made the team. And she's kind of ahead of schedule because when he signed her, he said, hey, it's going to take me, whatever it is, 2-3 years. It's only taking him one. Thompson is like that. He likes to have this project that a lot of people don't necessarily know about. That he's like, I'm going to work on this. He's had that in the past. The guy that won the long jump at Worlds, was it Budapest? Yeah, he always has this kind of project. I think he's having Kishane hold back because of the injury issues. And I think he's also like, no, we're gonna let it hang when it's time to let it hang. And so far, he hasn't really had to let it hang. If you can win your Olympic trials looking like that, if you can win against Tobago, who, oh by the way, Noah had to outlean at the last World Championships, if anybody forgets, then I think you do it.
How much of a deal do you think that lack of experience is going to be? I mean, this is a 23-year-old. I don't think he's run any meets. I mean, in 20, as of recently as 2020, he was a 10.5, 48 second 400-meter guy. I mean, he has zero experience at this level. Although he just did win the Jamaican trials. I mean,
and that to me is the great equalizer. Anybody can, I shouldn't say anybody, but we all know that there's a difference between line it up in London, Zurich, Brussels, Monaco, one shot, and that's the result. It's a difference with, oh, now it's not your mom and your girlfriend in the stands per se, and you didn't sleep in your bed last night, and now you're 7 hours away from your time zone. Well, there are others who are going to be in that 100 who are used to that. They're used to the pressure. And the pressure is a big thing. And it's not something that, what I call civilians like to talk about, but it is a big thing. And if he's able to pull this off, that's like I said, you write books about stuff like that because when the year started, and I'm sure that's not somebody that a lot of people had as, oh yeah, pencil that guy in for being on the podium. I mean, we're talking about him winning gold, but the truth is, if he's even able to get a medal, it'd be the first medal that Jamaica has gotten since Bolt disappeared.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating race. America Jamaica rivalry is back on for sure, and I guess the one other guy I wanted to ask about was Kerley because he's just had such a wild year, right? Wild last 6 weeks. From what you know, the switch to leaving ASICS, was that just because the spikes weren't working for him, or like, do you have any insight into that situation more than what he's granted?
I think Fred is, I know Fred pretty well. I think Fred and how he approaches things, just it was always going to seem weird to the rest of us. Fred, I think, realized that he was not having success in those shoes. Figured out, how am I going to get out of these shoes in time for the Olympic trials? Because I know, because I'm wearing them in practice, that I can run well in the Nike shoes. The debacle in New York, obviously, by his own admission, did not go the way that he wanted. But the truth is, he found a way to get out of his situation with ASICS. He's now, he's at the trials. He was wearing Oakley and Nike on his feet. He made the team, and I think he looks up and he goes, "Yeah, I fell on my face on national television," and everybody went, "What the hell is Fred doing?" It wouldn't be the first time. The last time people said that about me 3 years ago, I came back home with a silver medal. I think Fred feels like now I'm free. And now I can run in the shoes I want in the Olympics and let it all hang out. Do I have Fred on the podium? No, because I look at Fred technically, and Fred technically is not as good as he was in 2022 when he won the world title. So I don't have Fred on the podium. But, anybody who's run 9.7, you can't just completely dismiss them. I didn't have Noah winning last year. And that was, that was immense that I got that wrong. But that's the beauty of our sport. The Noah that I saw, I based that opinion because I saw Noah at trial at Nationals last year looking like, and then he comes to Worlds, he's not starting like that. He's not looking like that. Well, that's the difference between bronze at Nationals and gold at Worlds.
And Thompson, you compared Thompson to Powell. What do you see in those two? What do you think? What are the similarities you see between them?
Their size, the way they run is similar. He's got great high knees, and just the power that he puts down. The middle of his race, I went back and watched his race when he beat Tobogo in Monaco, and I just went. I think it was in Monaco, yeah. And
Hungary, right? That was
He was hungry, correct?
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
It was hungry. They all start to blend together for me after a while. I just looked at it and I went, he's got a lot of wattage there that he hasn't even like tapped into. Anybody put it this way: anybody who is ignoring Kishane Thompson as a threat, ignore them because they don't know what they're talking about, and clearly they are prejudiced for one side or the other. There's no way you can ignore that guy with what we've seen out of his last race.
It just seems also that that three of the guys we know thrive on the pressure. I mean, Noah lives, he just thrives under pressure and seems to really be enjoying it and being the center of attention. Kerley, I think, is another big guy too. And then Jacobs, I mean, obviously, to be honest, when he won 3 years ago, I mean, not being a sprint guy, I'm like, oh, this is the most fraudulent thing I've ever seen. This guy comes out of nowhere. I mean, honestly, what is he on? And then I've been so impressed by him since. Like, he didn't go hide under a rock. He's competing all the time. He goes to World Indoors the next year and beat, what didn't he win? He won, John?
He beat Coleman. Right? Yeah, he beat the best 65.
Number of people who have ever beaten Coleman at World Indoors. Now, in fairness to Christian, he was coming back from his whereabouts, and that was not the Christian that won World Indoors this year. But yeah, look, I have seen the Marcell Jacobs slander, right? I mean, shoot, half of Sprint on Netflix is just people going, ah. I'm like, ask the people who you say opening their mouth to say, including you, the number of people opening their mouth to say that, oh, it's a fluke, and it's a what they call a bubble 100 and all that stuff. I'm sorry. How many Olympic gold medals in the 100 have you won? Oh, that's what I thought. Because you don't see people who have won medals or won Olympic gold medals saying that. So I will give. Has he been hurt a lot? Yes. Has he backed up that 100-meter gold since then? Not really. But to your point and to his credit, he has not run and hide. He has won the European Championship since then. He has won the World Indoor 60 since then. And for a guy that size, that's really commendable. He just hasn't shown up at Worlds in 22 and 23. So guess what? We have a lot of people in this sport who only show up for Olympic years, really. So we'll see. I don't have him on the podium, but hey, the guy ran 980 the last time we were at the Olympics. 980 might win. I don't think 980 is winning.
So who's your podium?
My podium is Lyles, Thompson, and Bernard.
All right.
I think everybody's looking at Kenny like, oh, yeah. You know what Kenny does? Kenny wins medals. And in fact, you take away last year, Kenny wins medals every year. Kenny wins silver medals every year. So I'm not one of those who goes, oh, yeah, I'm just discarding. I'm not trusting Oblique Sevilla anymore because I picked him to medal twice at the last two Worlds and he was fourth. So I'm not trusting him. Tobogo has had a tough year losing his mother. I don't trust any of the African guys, Omanyala or Simbine. They do not show up in finals in a way that's meaningful. Darnell Hughes doesn't look the same. So yeah, that's my podium.